Welcome to the HVAC Jerks with your hosts, Rich, Kevin, and Joe. You can email these guys at theboys@thehvacjerks.com.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the HVAC Jerks weekly podcast. We are here, as we always are, with Rich, it's me, and Anonymous Joe dropping stuff all over the place there.
Oh, dude.
And we got Kevin drawing pictures on the wall now.
Hello.
So how you doing out there?
I'm doing good.
So we'll just jump right into things, and I'm going to start us off with our typical Anonymous Joe.
Wait for it. Wait
alias.
for it. Here it comes.
Can I spell this one?
No.
Oh,
well, maybe. Anonymous Joe, this week you were going to be known as, whoa, don't touch me, you'll burn yourself.
So we're just going to abbreviate that as two.
Oh, my.
So let me give you a little scenario here. So let's just make believe you're at your grandmother's house, and
My grandmother's dead.
We're at Kevin's grandmother's house, and you say you say to her, "Hey, Grandma, who's coming over for dinner?" And when she says, "Whoa, don't touch me,"
You should have stopped.
You'll burn yourself.
You should have stopped.
Now you'll know who she's talking about.
You should have stopped at the beginning, because now you just made it completely worse. That is just awful. I think that's by far the worst one so far.
Come on, there have been some good ones out there.
Don't touch me.
Unless it's in a certain spot.
Whoa, don't touch me, you'll burn yourself.
You're going to need money.
Oh, my God.
Hey, we're willing to take aliases from the audience here. So
Yeah,
if you guys
somebody
want
needs
send
to
us
help
an
in.
email
Squishy
at
fish
the boys
in a shoe or
at the
something.
HVAC Jerks.
Hey, I like your hat.
got a new hat on
They put
here,
it on the
yep.
camera. There.
Yep.
You got what does it say there?
That's it looks like a pecker from here.
What does
is
it
that?
say there? Whoa, it's...
I'm a
Is
dill.
that a dick?
I'm a dill.
John, I don't know if you
does it
remember
say? It
Hollywood
says,
Nights when the good president.
I'm kind of a big dill.
He's playing this is dick.
All right, now
It
we've
looks
lost
like you're a
control of
big dill.
everything here.
You're a big dill.
All right, the train is completely
He's
off
got
the
a
tracks
real
here.
pickle hat.
All right, let's get back to it.
All right, put the train back on the tracks now. All
We
right,
have
so
it.
this
Woo-woo.
week, episode 42, or actually, I don't even, are we episode 42? I don't even know where we are, 43 maybe.
Who knows?
Whatever this is, you
We're
find
just
it on
bringing
your...
it. We're bringing it, and you're going to like
Forget the
it.
numbers. All right, we're going to
Tell
talk
your
about...
kids.
The name of this one is Who Can Buy What?
Oh, God.
And the reason it started for me was that I've heard a lot of propane LP companies complaining about non-LP contractors being able to buy tanks from wholesalers.
This is, this has been a thing. They're talking about it being a liability issue too.
It is a liability issue.
Well, it is a liability. You're absolutely right, but there isn't any regulation, or we just talked about the lack of regulation on the last show, but regulation or any way to control who gets these tanks. So companies are going into someone's home. Let's say you're cooking and you have a 100-pound tank or whatever, and you go in there and the tank belongs to somebody from 25 years ago. Maybe they're out of business or somebody, a competitor up the road, and it's their tank. Do you fill it? Do you take that liability? Now, once you fill it, you own it. You own it. That house blows up. Doesn't matter if you did anything with the line or doesn't matter.
Well,
it's your gas in that tank.
Those
you were
tanks are coded.
I understand that, and they're also tagged to who owns them.
Yes, and they have the right to say, "I'm a new provider. If you want to use us, we're going to switch out the tanks."
Yeah,
that's not what's happening.
But then the company that owns the tank can take the tank back, because the way it's supposed to work is that, if ABC company puts in the tank, they're supposed to be the only ones that fill it up, and they can take it back anytime because they own it.
Supposed to be.
All right, so let's revert it back to.
So now I go out and buy my own tank.
As
Let's
who?
just say
as a homeowner or a contractor?
I'm a homeowner. I went to my supply house. I mean, I have, it's not fair to say because I have connections within the supply house, but I didn't break any rules or any
All right,
laws.
so you
I
said
walked in and said I
but
want
you
two
started your
420s.
conversation with there's no way to stop it, and there is because hold on. I mean, yes, can you do things around corners? Of course you can. There's always a back entrance somewhere, but typically, up until recently, you had to have a license to be able to buy CFC.
Well, I was going to say, well, yeah, okay, go ahead.
You had to have a license to buy R22. You had to go to school. You had to go through the course, take the test, and be certified.
The EPA.
Well, whatever
Okay.
you want to say, there was a standard.
Okay.
There's no standard for. There's no standard for any of this.
Montreal Protocol in 1994.
Whatever,
It was,
whatever the case may be, you understood what the tank was. You understood what the refrigerant was. You understood the ramifications of that refrigerant going into the atmosphere, and it was required by law to be regulated that you couldn't buy it unless you were certified.
Right.
They should do that with propane and regulators and tanks.
Yeah. You know, let's put some history on this real quick before you say what you're going to say. Just traditionally, it's always been that the propane companies were the ones that they're the only ones that were buying the tanks, and they were putting them out there for free or whatever, or you would rent them or whatever, and nobody else was buying them then.
Right.
The contractors weren't buying them. It was just the propane companies. So that's where we're coming from. That's where it all started. Go ahead.
Right. No, I agreed. I mean, it was just those were the main players that were out there. But propane is becoming more prevalent in our industry. So it's now, they're providing it. They're saying, well, we want to rent them or sell them or, whatnot. But now if someone like myself walked into my supply house that sells to the public, let's say, like there's a few in our area that do, I go and just say, upcharge me, whatever it is. And I want to buy a 420 and I want to put it on my property and I'm going to put it on a pad and I want a regulator and some, copper line. I want a 2-stage and a first and second stage 10-pounder or whatever. And I'm going to do all that work and some company is just going to fill it for the cost of the fuel. Man, there's liability across
everywhere.
the board.
Where they fall back to is, though, they have the right to come out to the job site and inspect it.
That's the gas company probably will not fill it. But now it's still also, what if they do find somebody that just goes, yeah, no problem, we'll deliver on Tuesday. And a guy comes and slams some fuel in it, and the next thing you know, it levels the house. It got to fall back. You sold it to someone who had no credentials. Right, you sold it to somebody who had no experience, that you have no idea who they are.
Or purging facilities if they need to.
Whatever.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the guy that sold the fuel. I'm talking about the guy you sold the tank to.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So we're not even talking about a contractor. We're just talking about the guy that delivers
homeowners.
bread.
And I dealt with these guys, and I actually I have a story to go with it, but I'll do it when it's appropriate. But this guy, in general, people will just say, like, yeah, it's just gas. Like, what the hell? You put a little of this, put a little of that, and it's all good. It's going to work fine. And gas is very dangerous. It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, it heats blocks at a time.
Oh man, it's and people don't understand too. Natural gas and propane are two different animals.
Just,
very different.
Just so you can see we're on the same page. When we, Rich and I worked for that other company, there was some contractors I would steer so far away from getting involved in any of this because I was afraid for them.
Right.
I was afraid.
So with that being said, now homeowners. Now we're painting a broad brush here and saying that all homeowners are morons and they don't know what they're doing. Well, that's not fair to say because there's some that are very intelligent people that know exactly what they're doing. Maybe ran propane tanks
during
the summer through college. Who knows? Sure, So we don't want to, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, there's people that work for contractors, like Joe just said, that
who shouldn't be anywhere near
deserve to be buying this equipment either.
No.
So if we're going to have a regulation, it should be on the quality of the people buying the product, not necessarily the product. It has to be regulated, I believe, through the person purchasing it.
Well, going back to the company that Rich and I worked for, if
you can show me you're competent, then you should be able.
The one positive thing,
because the liability falls on.
I got
the one positive thing that they did, and this was for equipment across the board. They would not sell to anybody but the trade. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that there's some incompetence in the trade, because we both know that there is.
On both sides.
Right, but the fact is that there was a stopgap. There was something to say, no, we're going to limit our liability. We're not going to sell to anybody who walks through the door.
And they wouldn't sell anything. They wouldn't even sell an air filter.
Right, they wouldn't sell an air filter. Well, that was discretionary. I remember the vice president saying, if a homeowner comes in and they're looking to buy a case of filters, sell them a case of filters. You're not selling them a gas.
Depends on which counter guy you're talking
about.
Yeah,
right. But
I can come up with a name if you want one.
No names. And so for sure, there were some guys who held true to that. They would not sell to.
Right.
I mean, there was guys
because it protects the contractor too.
It protects the contractor. But I think on this gas issue, I think it's a liability for the gas company. I think it's a liability for the person selling the equipment. I think it's just something that if you don't do it regularly, you shouldn't be doing it.
I want to tell a real quick story about we're talking about homeowners and contractors that aren't used to doing this kind of work or maybe aren't competent. I know of an LP company, and that was their business. They sold predominantly LP, and they had a guy on a job site once, and there was an underground tank, and one of their guys was driving a Bobcat or something and got too close to the tank and knocked off the relief valve or something, and they didn't know how to stop it.
Yeah,
and
tennis ball and a crank strap.
This was the LP company was calling other LP companies to find out what to do.
I remember that. You called me on that one.
Because they had no idea what to do.
Tennis ball and a crank strap.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have worked, sure. I mean,
absolutely. A wooden peg and a mallet.
Something. And I'm not an LP guy, so I don't know all the protocol. But I mean, if you're selling stuff, you got
you the guy doing it.
I took the gas check class, and I got certified. I don't know, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Why is that not a mandate? Like, for you, I was told that I needed to have that class so I could buy a cylinder of any size. Doesn't matter what it is. I needed to take that. Or something. So I understand what the labeling is and how to address these situations.
But this was a company that had 15 employees.
Put my cape on.
They had 30,000-gallon tank in the yard, and they didn't know what to do when
drive it to a big field and shoot it with a flaming arrow. It's a big can of hairspray. It's not going to blow up. It's just going to make a really cool effect.
No, they fly up in the air. They're like a rocket ship. Remember that happened in White Plains?
But anyway, I mean, we're talking about homeowners not knowing what they're doing, or maybe some contractors not knowing what they're doing. When the LP company doesn't know what they're doing, there's no regulation.
They would fall into the category of contractors.
At that point, they're an LP provider.
Listen, they sell the gas and they want to move the gas, and maybe the drivers know how to handle it with their hazmat training, but the guys that are working on it.
But speaking to Rich's comment.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. The owner didn't know what to do. The owner of the company didn't know what to do when he had that leak.
Because he just sells gas.
Right.
So he doesn't.
Sorry, Joe, go ahead.
No, but speaking to his point, we did a specific training because the company, again, referring back to them, they used to be very proactive in sending their trainer, who was this guy who had been doing it for such a long time, and he would come up and train companies. And a lot of the gas drivers, like, oh my God, we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to do this.
The bobtail drivers?
Yeah, the bobtail drivers would never do.
What are rubber gloves?
No, but they would never do a leak test when there was a run out. There was nothing.
No.
They weren't told to do anything. A new install, they weren't told to.
But again, we've talked about this back in episode 3. We're going back to old school owners that were just like, just slap it in and just get it done. Move on to the next one.
I think that this varies a lot state by state, though, because some states are
I think
much more
propane
regulated.
Blows up equally in any state. I don't think it
probably does. That's true.
I'm pretty sure.
But I think there's some states that regulate these things statewide, and our state doesn't at all. I mean, not to the technician level anyway. So, but, the whole topic goes not just to LP tanks and, LP guys getting upset because wholesalers are selling them to regular contractors. I think it just goes back to what Too Hot to Handle over there was saying about
don't touch me.
Yeah. Selling anything to homeowners. I mean, so let's talk about selling an oil nozzle or an igniter even.
Anything like that is liability. It doesn't matter. I mean, you sell anytime you sell to a homeowner.
That has anything to do with combustion?
Not even necessarily a homeowner. Let's just say somebody who's not in the trade.
I keep thinking about an igniter on an oil burner.
They can get electrocuted. So it's equally, but that's like saying Home Depot would be responsible for selling you a bundle of shingles and you fell off your roof.
Okay.
All right. So there's liability in all of it. Well, I wouldn't have been on my roof, but Home Depot told me I could go up there and do that.
Right.
And I took this weekend little seminar, showed me how to hammer the nail.
I wonder how they get away with that.
I bought a box of nails. and I bought
they
a shingle.
sell gas, hot water heaters. They sell all kinds of stuff.
How do they get around all that liability?
We're going to have to get a real insurance company guy in here, and I have a guy. We might have to bring him in. We'll have to talk about that.
Oh, you got a guy?
I got a guy too.
I got a guy.
Forget about it. Your guy's not allowed on this show. We have to come up with a name for him. Is he still alive, or is he doing?
I don't know. I'm too hot to touch, so he can't call me.
So, all right. So let's go back.
What was my name?
Your name is.
Don't touch me.
You'll burn yourself.
I didn't put that on there.
Incredible.
I got to draw a flame.
Whoa! Don't touch me.
You're such a
You'll
flame.
burn yourself.
Flamer.
I didn't say that. I just said you're a flame.
But. This goes back to what we were talking about in one of the previous episodes again, about people, it's my house. I want to work on my stuff. Why wouldn't,
Okay. But when you can take out the neighborhood, that's an issue.
Okay, how do you draw that line? How do you specify that? You're talking about an igniter. You sell somebody an igniter, they're going to kill themselves when they touch the springs, but they're not going to hurt.
Even a lot of municipalities,
they're not going to hurt your neighbors.
But even a lot of municipalities don't require a homeowner to take a permit if he's going to do the plumbing on his house.
Yeah, they do. There's homeowner tests.
Wait a second.
There is.
That's recent.
As far as I knew, that I would say in the last 10 years, to my knowledge, that there is testing locally here. That if you were if you're going to pull a permit and you're going to do plumbing, you have to prove to them that you as a homeowner have the basic understandings of plumbing.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
It's a homeowner test, which is a lot easier than a master plumber test. So if you're going to go in and say, well, I want to be a master plumber and I want the plumbing license and I'm going to go out and do plumbing all day,
you have to know
Schedule 80, Schedules 40 underground. You need to know everything and anything about plumbing. Right. What's the purple?
They still do lead wipes, lead bends.
I can do that.
Copper twine.
Yeah.
Copper twine. What? Cotton twine. I just paid
completely just lost my train of thought.
But it's all right. We won't listen to you anyway.
Yeah.
So
you were telling us you were going to...
No, I wasn't telling you that.
No, sorry.
No? I go swimming? John's got a pool.
It's the whole month.
All right. Oh, what I was going to say, though, was in my town, I can change my electrical service panel and not take out any permit. There's nobody who's going to come and say...
You live in the Wild West.
They're
47 years behind the rest of us.
But I can go take my panel off today and go change it and do whatever I want. And then the only thing they require is that I get a sticker at the end.
My town tells me I can't do any of that, and I did it anyway.
Yeah. Well,
in New Rochelle, but you want to change your toilet, you got to pull a permit.
You got to do it in Poughkeepsie, too. City of Poughkeepsie, toilet, $50. Sink faucet, $50.
Really?
Right. So let's go back to guys buying stuff they shouldn't be buying. And so, it's from a wholesaler's point of view, I mean, that's a difficult...
It's a hard line to draw.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's a major water heater manufacturer that's out there that we know of. They're American made. I'm going to say Bradford White. They're a wholesale company. They deal to contractors. That's just their MO.
Yeah.
And you have companies like A.O. Smith and American that will sell to Home Depot and to anybody under the sun. So...
Yeah, I think that's tough for manufacturing companies because they want to grow their business as much as they can. But, some choose to go down the path of selling direct to the homeowner, which, that makes it more difficult for the contractors.
Yeah, but let's really address the monster in the room. You can buy anything on the internet. Anything.
Secondhand or...
No, new. Yeah. You can buy anything on the internet. It's crazy. You go a lot of these places now on the internet where... You're looking for a water heater? Plug it in. It'll show you buy direct.
They'll
great. Ship it to you.
That's great.
So,
but I just had that experience today, and I'm going to tell you right now, this guy went and bought his own hot water heater. Thought he was saving all kinds of money. It's under warranty. Calls me up out of nowhere. Says, I want you to change my hot water heater. I said, no problem. We will charge you for every ounce of labor needed to change the hot water heater. That means picking it up, delivering it, removing it, installing it, all the material that we use additional will all be a charge. Mm-hmm. He says, well, it's under warranty. Not my warranty. Yeah. I didn't buy it.
Yep.
But, you're going to do all the paperwork. No, you are.
Yeah. So, why would they think you're going to do it?
That's a pitfall of that. But what we're talking about, it's available.
Oh, yeah.
You can buy anything.
Okay, so I sat at the supply house that he supposedly had it all set up and ready to be picked up. I sat there for 48 minutes waiting for them to figure out, where's the right number? Where's this? Where's the RGA number? I didn't know.
You actually did the job?
Yeah, I did it today. And I sat there and said, hey, it's on the customer's dime. I said, you guys take your time, whatever. I mean, not to be a jerk, but hey, you guys are sitting here. This guy came in and told me it was paid for. I'm sitting here on his clock, so you guys just do whatever you got to do to figure it out. Yeah. But you got to bring the old one back, and we're arguing and bickering, and and I'm like, I just want a hot water heater so I can go put it in. Yeah. And I'll bring you back whatever you need, but I need the hot water heater so I can get it done. Yeah. And this is all on his dime. And the guy's like, what the hell? Why are they doing this? And I'm like, that's me. I got an hour and a half to pick it up and get it to the house. Me, just one guy in a truck, hour and a half. And I had two guys ripping it out. Yeah. Those guys are costing money. Sure. So this guy's going to spend more money than it would have been to just buy a brand new one with a brand new warranty.
Not as punitive damage, but because he went the way he went. It is what it is.
Yeah, you pay
had he gone through you buying the unit, you making your whatever margin on it, all that labor would have been covered. Mm-hmm. Everything, the whole process would have been covered. He would have said, Kevin, I have a problem. You'd have went, solved it. Okay, sorry this happened. Have a great day.
This goes back to, trying to explain to the customer why it costs so much.
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. Yeah,
he's complaining. He got $1,000 bill today. And I was like, dude, for $200 more, you would have got a brand new hot water heater.
Yeah.
With a warranty
full
from
warranty,
us. Yeah. But whatever, but you take that gamble when someone says, I want to go to one of these big market, the HD or to the big L or whatever, and they go in there and they want to go buy a tank off the shelf, or they want to go buy something off. It doesn't matter what it is.
The supply house,
some pump or whatever.
The problem is that this is a very important topic. And the problem is there's no control. There is absolutely no control because anything today could be purchased online. Anything. I don't care what it is.
How would you control it, though?
You can't.
You can't. I mean, there's ways to.
I don't know how.
You could sell a faucet to somebody. They're not really going to hurt anybody. They can cause damage to their house and maybe to themselves.
That's self-inflicted damage.
That's different.
Yeah.
When it comes to combustion, like you were saying before, and I think it's a different. They're
still doing it. You see it in Home Depot and all the other big box stores. You can buy anything.
Talk about boilers. That's a dangerous thing, right? Those are components that people don't truly understand. If you don't know what you're doing, you can really hurt yourself. You can blow that thing up.
Steam,
You make steam, or turn one into steam. Yeah, and that's even worse.
Well, how many hot water tanks have you seen?
But you could go to Home Depot.
Rocket ships.
you could go to Home Depot and buy a boiler tomorrow and just slap it in your house and have no idea what the hell you're doing.
Sure, and they put plugs in the relief valves when they're leaking and all kinds of stuff.
But you take that and you're saying everything's available online.
I'm not saying it as a positive.
No. I'm just saying.
Unfortunately, everything can.
But you were saying, how do we control that? There's no way. Well, there is a way. Every unit that gets produced has a number.
Right.
It's all trackable.
Okay.
Right? You can tell me there's not. What are those? They call those little boxes a QR or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So everything's trackable. So if there's a product that's being sold that shouldn't be being sold on the internet, off the back of a truck or through somebody's back door, or I bought it but I don't need it, but I'm selling it to you and it still has a warranty and all that. No.
Right.
Like that QR number comes up, that serial number comes up. That was produced and sold to Bob, or that went to this supply house. That went to. What do you mean that was sold on the internet? You bought it from who?
We understand that, but a lot of manufacturers are selling to online companies now.
That's fine, but they'll know what they sold to those online companies.
Still, you're missing the point. It's got nothing to do with tracking the service. It's got to do that it's available to homeowners. You cannot stop that. That's what I'm talking about.
The availability to homeowners is fine. What I was saying is warranties being covered correctly.
Forget about the warranty. We're talking about the danger factor here. The warranty, yes, it's a completely.
Well, if that company wants to take the risk in selling it to somebody that has no concept of what they're doing,
that's what we're trying to discuss here. There's nothing you cannot purchase on the internet. Nothing. And that's
it gets scary when you start talking about regulators, gas regulators, and that kind of thing.
Here, okay. Let's keep talking.
I had a situation where we went into a home and they did a little funkiness with the regulators, and they had a 10-pounder
in the house.
No, hold on. They had a 10-pounder at the tank, 10-pounder at the house, and then a 2-pounder at the unit.
Wow.
And the guy goes, the dude came, he hung it on the wall. I don't know if this is any good, but it's been here for a year and he never came back to finish the job. And I said to him, well, good thing, because if he did, you might be dead. And he goes, what do you mean? And I'm like, you would have 2 pounds of gas blowing into your house, and this thing would try to light up and blow your stuff up.
Wow. Okay, so just for the sake of
And this is a guy that I personally know.
I used
that's
to see
been
that.
in the trades, and was very disappointed to hear that this was what he was doing.
I can't tell you how many times
dangerous stuff.
Contractors came into supply houses and asked which regulator should I use. Doesn't matter what color I put where. They had no idea. Put the red one inside the house.
All right, so just
what do you got?
No education.
I put down, where can I buy a gas regulator?
Okay.
How many websites would you like to know?
175,000.
LP gas regulators, Amazon.com.
Yep. No, it's out there, but there's
Walmart, eBay.
Yeah, well, that'll change when one person buys it, puts it in, and blows their house up.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can buy them everywhere. Plumbing supplies, Shopcross,
LP,
Line Energy Systems. It's crazy.
This will all change when the lawsuits start coming.
Nah, if it hasn't started now, it's not gonna.
No, it will. The major catastrophe hasn't happened yet. And when that does happen, you'll see all of them pull that back.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's a dangerous
One
thing.
family of 4 goes down because a boiler exploded in the basement.
You see them.
And you will
it
see
happens
that change.
all over the place. There's no way to monitor it. There's no way to. Who are you going to go after at the end of the day? They can't find whatever breaks or blows up because there's nowhere to be found.
It's incinerated.
Right?
Well, that's
so.
true.
But it's still,
how do you regulate?
I could fall down a staircase. It doesn't matter. But the guy that built it in 25 years ago is getting sued.
I get it. The problem is
anybody who had their hands on
when you have this wide availability, it's like pissing in the ocean.
Like it's the Wild West right now.
Yeah,
Everybody's selling everything, but sooner or later, it's going to be a problem.
One of the reasons the LP companies got upset by this whole transition into anybody being able to buy it because it took some of their power away. They used to be able to charge X. Now they have to charge X minus half. Whatever.
Well, they still want to sell the product. So at the same time, but it takes liability off of them too because they can go in and say, "Well, it's your tank, not mine. I'll fill the gas, but and here, sign this contract and sign this agreement."
When I changed
your equipment,
when I changed I've been getting. I don't deal with a big oil company. I deal with a small company. Local guy I've known for 20 years, and she's just his truck, and now he's got his son doing it. He's got another truck. So anyway, just a local guy.
Not gonna give him a plug.
No.
Okay. I love him to death.
I do love him to death. All right, Ever Ready Oil.
Oh, good. Yeah,
so anyway, I've been using this guy for a long time, family friend or whatever, and I changed the oil tank in my basement myself. And when I changed it and he delivered the next time, he insisted that he had to come in and actually took a look at it and put a sticker on it and actually approved it, even though
for him.
He knows I've been in the business forever. We've known each other a long time.
Good for him.
How many guys don't tell the oil company this is the first delivery? And they go in and put 200 gallons of fuel in the basement.
It's the White House with the black shutters.
Yeah, I mean, this is stupid as shit.
The
fills on the left, and all of a sudden there's no tank.
And by the way,
because the other White House on the block with black shutters was waiting for the delivery, and you went to the wrong house.
It's crazy.
Not to mention
how many times does a homeowner do their own tanks and leave the supply still outside?
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
change it to the other side.
Yeah, and by the way, it's right next to the gas meter. It makes the connection.
Right. Yeah, there's so many bad things that could happen out there.
It's just not. But
safety and being smart.
My fear is not the installation aspect of it. Well, it is because it's correlated with this.
Absolutely.
My fear is the ability to be able, the availability.
I can only hope
everywhere.
I can only hope that there's a mental check for a lot of people out there that feel courageous enough to look for the parts, but also
I got to pay somebody to do this.
The mental
That's the only
ability to
mentality
stop
going
yourselves
on.
from
Why
doing
am I
something.
paying somebody to do this?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Everybody wants to save money.
My car can do 135 miles an hour, but I don't do 135 miles an hour. You know what I mean? So
mine does.
But do you do that every day?
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. But you understand what I'm saying. So,
of course.
Look, my advice to anybody out there is if you don't truly understand what you're doing, if you want to buy the material or if you want to get advice from a professional and have a professional help you or assist you or even do the job for you, but you want to buy the material to save money, that I would recommend that before going out and try to tackle anything on your own. Do not do anything that you are not comfortable or do not understand.
Hopefully there's homeowners listen to this. We're not trying to make money on you.
Seriously, for liability reasons for everybody and whatever. And
personal safety,
don't hurt yourselves.
I got a little different take on that. The contractors out there buying this stuff who are professional contractors that really don't know about this part of the business, they need to check themselves.
Education.
And be
but
professional.
This goes back to episode 3.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of this.
The business owners don't train their guys. How many
Yeah.
Freaking your oil company guy, how long did it take that guy to finally realize I got to go and check every tank? How many oil tanks didn't get filled right or overfilled or tanks popped or there was not a tank present and a basement got flooded with oil before he realized I better do this.
Or the overfill whistle doesn't work.
Yeah, well, and the guy's, smoking a cigarette, playing on his phone, whatever, but it has to happen a certain amount of time before everybody starts to realize that it's an issue.
Yeah.
So let's not blow up another house.
Hey, listen, when I was working in Connecticut,
gas is dangerous stuff.
When I was working in Connecticut, one of the oil companies ended up buying a house.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Because they couldn't remedy it.
Yeah.
The homeowner said, well, the smell's never coming out, and they bought the house.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate, but we have to be careful. I don't know how to solve it. I wouldn't say it's an epidemic. I wouldn't say that we have to solve an issue.
No, this is all just coming down to the mass market and the available products. The internet
with technology and the information that's just out there. It's just so fast and so available. And Joe's right. Anything is online.
Sure.
eBay is, there's
That's
no
just
regulations
life today. Yep.
But be careful of what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Be careful.
All right. Well, that wraps up another exciting episode of the HVAC Jerks.
Oh, don't
Thanks
touch
for hanging
me.
out with us. Yeah. Whoa. Don't touch me. You'll burn yourself.
No, you guys definitely don't touch me because I just drank 2 gallons of water and I got to pee.
Well,
Wow, Beluga the whale over there.
all you people
Come
out
on,
there.
wrap this up before we become a mess in
what
here.
about that other thing?
Yeah.
Don't forget Delta T helping us with the website here, and we're going to wrap it and getting that a little bit tighter. Delta Creative.
Yep. But join us again next week when Anonymous Joe considers taking a job at the San Diego Zoo to teach penguins how to yodel.
You hear that?
Did you hear that?
What is
Silence.
They get it. Crickets.
Teach those
Thank
penguins to yodel.
you. Good night.
All right, thanks a lot. The boys at the HVACjerks.com is our email. Find us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all that other
Just
stuff.
ruined John's night. He's
Have
like,
a
what the
good
hell's that noise?
You guys are jerks.
Follow the HVAC Jerks on Facebook and Instagram.